Hi, Anil.
Well,
How are you?
amazing. Thank you for having me.
Just for the sake of the people who are listening, a quick backstory. Folks, I met Anil at Awesomeness Fest. Anil is one of the world's greatest coaches in relationships. Now, a lot of people can claim that, right? But why I'm interviewing Anil is because before Awesomeness Fest ended last year in Dominican Republic. Now, Awesomeness Fest is this event run by Mind Valley where hundreds of entrepreneurs come together to learn new techniques in personal growth. And you get amazing speakers from all around the world. And Anil was there as a delegate. But during the event, I'm walking around, meeting delegates, just speaking to people who are there. And at two or three times at that event, people came up to me and I always ask people because it's my event, what was your highlight? And twice someone came up to me and their response was, my highlight was meeting this man called Anil Gupta. And I said, well, why? He wasn't a speaker. He was just someone here in the audience. And they go, I know. And apparently one of these people, Anil, met you on a beach after one of the late night evenings and sat with you under a coconut tree and said that you gave him a revelation that changed his life. Now, that was impressive, but what was even more impressive was I was in the bathroom, the men's room, and the guy next to me was washing his hands, and he says, oh my God, Vishen, thank you, thank you. And I'm like, what happened? And he goes, thank you for Anil Gupta. I spoke to him after lunch, we bumped into each other, he told me what he did, and I think he just saved my marriage. So whatever you do, Anil, you're really good at it. And that's why I had to have you on consciousness
Yeah.
engineering. So what we're going to be talking about is basically a couple of key principles that Anil has stumbled upon that when you learn will allow you to be more successful, more comfortable, happier in whatever relationship you have, not just with people outside a romantic relationship. I'm talking friends, colleagues, but also with yourself. There's a famous Harvard study called the Very Happy People study. So basically, these researchers at Harvard decided to study all manner of human experiences to figure out what had the highest correlation with happiness. So they wondered if it had to do with living in a warm climate or having lots of money or working on something that gave you passion or being really incredibly healthy. And they found that nothing, absolutely nothing, correlated with happiness as much as one thing: the strength of your social connections. It had a zero point 0.7 correlation, the strength of your social connections. But think about it, right? How often, when was the last time we actually learned how to strengthen our social connections? Not just with our spouse or our loved ones, but with our kids, our family, our friends, our colleagues. That's what the topic of this call is going to be. So, Anil, why don't you share what models and systems you're going to be teaching us today?
Okay. So, Vishen, the thank you for the intro. Very honored and humbled. The number one discipline. If you master this one discipline, you master your life. Not in your just in your personal life, but in your business life, in your family life. And that discipline is awareness. Awareness is the express pathway to live a fulfilled life. So, if you master awareness, you master your life.
But tell us more. What do you mean by awareness?
Awareness is just how you show up in life, who you're being, who you're not being, what you say, what you don't say, what you do, what you don't do. So, for example, if I'm with my wife and I'm totally unaware of how she's feeling, the evening will go very badly. But if I'm aware that, you know what, there's something that's on her mind, so then I say, look, honey, I think there's something on your mind. Can I help you with anything? Is there anything that you want to talk about? And then she has the option to say to me, she does or she doesn't. But then in that moment, I get the awareness that everything will be fine, and she gets the awareness that I'm there. So if if you don't do anything and you're aware of something, you have a choice. But we run on autopilot.
Could you tell
So
us more?
awareness gives you clarity, and that's what people are missing. From clarity, you get focus. From focus, you get action. From action, you get results. And ultimately, from results, you get success. And ultimately, what we're looking for is not success or happiness, but it's fulfillment. So fulfillment is a much deeper level. So, but you cannot be fulfilled without awareness. You cannot be in love without awareness. You cannot be successful without awareness. So awareness is the master key. So the next question you may want to ask is, how do you gain awareness? Simple, practical, powerful. I wear a wristband here, and it's got the word awareness on it. You can wear a rubber band or elastic band You can have a handkerchief, tie a knot in a handkerchief, put it in your pocket. Every time you're aware of the handkerchief, you'll say, oh, yes, I have to become aware. Put a post-it note on your computer. Have your phone make a noise every 2 or 3 hours. So then what happens is you'll become aware of being aware. So, and it's a muscle. It's just as you build this muscle, you become stronger and stronger. But you have to start. And once you start, the muscle becomes much stronger and it gets stronger much quicker.
But Anil, when you talk about awareness in the example you gave, aren't you just referring to empathy, or is there more to this than that?
No, empathy is totally different. Awareness is more powerful, and it's being in the present, and it's being with the other person. So, for example, if I'm with my child, if I'm totally present and aware of the joy that that child is having in that moment, rather than everything that's going on in my head, I can enjoy that child more. I mean, if you look at a child having an ice cream, how beautiful is it? They're totally present, they're totally aware, they're totally focused. It's beautiful. But as we get older, we lose that awareness. We have so many things going on in our heads. So as you quieten down the mind, as you become more peaceful, more thoughtful, you get to choose life the way you want to run it instead of life running you. It is really very, very powerful.
So is awareness then the key to successful relationships?
Absolutely.
But
It's not just successful relationships. You cannot be happy. You cannot be fulfilled. You cannot be successful. You cannot have a great relationship without awareness. It's the fundamental discipline.
so two questions there. Firstly, doesn't that seem a little bit simplistic? Surely there's more to it. And secondly, if this were true, how would we cultivate awareness?
Okay, so it's not that simple. See, awareness it basically it throws light on something. So once you've thrown the light on something, you have a choice. So if say for example, I throw some awareness around my relationship with my wife, and I realize, you know what, I haven't been spending time with her. I haven't been present with her. I haven't been giving her flowers. I haven't been taking her out. Now I'm aware that I haven't been doing that. Now I have a choice. I have to take action. So awareness without action is mindless. But once you have the awareness, you have a choice. Do I want to take her out? Do I want to culture her? Do I want to look after her? And if I choose not to, that's fine. But there are consequences. But without the awareness, I'll just be on autopilot and I'll be oblivious. And she'll say something. And I say, well, I didn't know that. She said, of course you didn't know that. So it's very powerful.
How do we cultivate it?
Practice. You know, do the techniques I told you, but just practice it. Practice. It's a muscle. Once you start building that muscle, you become aware of being aware. You become aware at a higher level, so you show up at a different pace.
So if awareness is an idea that we embrace, could you clarify what techniques could we follow specifically to raise our level of awareness towards a loved one?
So, for example, if you think of Christina right now, give me 5 beautiful things about her.
Her eyes, her smile, how dedicated she is as a mom, her ambition, and her intelligence.
Okay, and I'm sure you've got 100 other
Right.
things, but in that moment, your level of awareness for her increased. So just practice. Stop and just look around. What are you aware of? Are you aware of the sunshine, the settee behind you, the carpet, the texture on the floor? Your face, your ring, how you're feeling. Are you cold? Are you warm? Is your heart beating? Are your eyes looking but not seeing? So it's just a muscle. Just ask yourself, what am I aware of? What am I not aware of? What am I seeing? What am I not seeing? So coupled with this, the quality of the questions you ask will determine the answers. So you can use this in your business life. So for example, in your business life, what is it I'm aware of? What is it that I know? What is it I think I know? What is it I know for sure? What is it I should be doing? What is it I'm not doing? And then once you become aware, you know what? I'm not being true to myself. I'm not showing up as an outstanding performer. I should be doing this, but I'm not. Now, am I committed to doing this? No, I'm not. So what do I need to do? Well, you need to step up. Do you want to step up? Well, I'm committed, so I will. So all these thought processes start thinking and getting processed in your head, and then you have a choice. Then you can decide, yes, I do want to do it. And at times you say, you know what, I don't want to do it. But you become a different person.
So, what about people who are in relationships right now where they feel neglected or they feel unhappy? What can they do to shift that?
Okay, let me give you my personal example.
Okay.
So in London, I was a doctor. So I'd come home from the practice and I felt there was something missing. I was really upset and I couldn't work out what it was. Then I realized what it was. At work, I was like a god, a king. Anything I said, boom, it's done. Anything I wanted done, boom, it's done. I got total respect. But when I got home, I didn't get that respect. And that was upsetting to me. But it wasn't a deliberate thing my kids or my family were doing to me. It was just my feeling, my expectations, because I expected them to behave in a certain way, and they didn't. So this is very powerful. So realizing that and not getting upset over it, I had a conversation with my wife. And communication skills is very powerful in a relationship. So I said, honey, look, I have a problem. She said, what is it? You know, I don't feel respected. Oh, okay. And then she said, what is it you need to have done to feel respected? I said, well, you know, when I come home, I want to be greeted. I want all of you to come and greet me. I want the kids to run at me. Okay, we could do that, you know, but authentically, not just for the sake of making me happy, but authentically. Right. So that, again, that's that level of awareness.
It reminds me of it reminds me of a 1960s family sitcom.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Which one is that?
I don't know. The Brady Bunch, Leave It to the Beaver.
Oh, yeah. I love the Brady Bunch. So, and then the next question was, what do I need to do to make you feel respected? So, honey, look, just say to me these few words. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. I respect you. I love you. She said, I can do that. I said, great. And anything else? She said, well, every time you pass me, just stroke me in the back or just pat me on the back. And listen to what I say. And she said, is that all? I said, yeah, that's all. Can you see that it was small things that are made into a big thing?
But here's the problem that many people face, right? You want to bring up these small things. You want to request these small things. But different people have different ways of perceiving this. And what if your partner is resistant?
Well, the thing is, you have to serve your partner first. You know, ask them, honey, what is it I can do to make you feel more loved? Now, normally, women want love more than respect. Men want respect more than love. So, honey, what can I do to make you feel loved? Normally, you know, 90% of the time. So, a man seeks respect more than love. You know, it's the number one thing for a man. For a woman, it's she wants to feel loved. What is it what is it I need to do to make you feel loved? Well, so, honey, I want you to sit with me. I want you to listen to me. I want you to be present with me. That's easy. You know, for me, you have to tell me what to do. If you tell me do this, this, and this, I'll do it.
So,
and go on. And something that's very important, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, for example, I used to leave the toothpaste lid off the toothpaste, and my wife would always ask me to put it back on, and I refused. You know, I love to be right, and I love to be right about being right. And I would just do it to push her buttons. Then one day she said this to me, honey, every time you leave the toothpaste lid off the toothpaste tube, I lose some love for you. Wow. Guess what? Now I make sure I put the toothpaste lid back on, and I make sure she sees me.
But isn't that kind of coercion, or isn't that a threat?
No. The beautiful thing is, I was unaware that she felt that way. So my level of awareness raised. So I didn't have to do it. If I didn't do it, I would still get the same results. But I did it from a place of awareness. Whereas before, I was totally unaware. So, for example, if I say to my wife, I love you, that doesn't mean anything. Honey, I truly want to thank you for the joy, kindness, love, compassion, that you've given me, the two beautiful kids, the trust that you've had in me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would die for you. You mean everything to me. That's like 27 seconds. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. As human beings, we do everything for one reason only. You know what that is?
What?
For a feeling. Okay? We have a meal for a feeling. We have a relationship for a feeling. We have money in the bank, not for security, but for the feeling it gives us. So imagine you could live a life where you could generate the feeling without anything happening.
Right.
And that's just a muscle. We can generate feelings, and we're very good at generating bad feelings. But if you get into the habit, you can generate any feeling you want right now. So, Vishen, remember the day Eve was born?
Right, I do.
Beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
See, you could generate that feeling anytime you wanted. Anytime you feel upset, just focus on the day she was born. Focus on the day Hayden was born. So it's a muscle. If you practice this muscle, it just gets stronger and stronger. And then you get to run life the way you want it rather than life running you.
So in summary, Anil, if you were to advise someone on how to strengthen their relationship, step number 1 is nurture the idea of awareness. Be aware and fully present with someone else. Step number 2, try to give first before trying to receive. Try to actually ask them, what can I do to make you feel loved? What can I do to make you feel respected? As you said earlier, women crave love, men crave respect. And when you know that, do it. And then when you feel that you have given and they are receptive, you might want to then ask them what they can do for you to make you feel love or respect. Would that be the approach?
What do you at the second part? You said try and do something for them. Just do it.
Right.
I call this dating facade. When a boy meets girl and a girl meets boy, he would do anything for her. She flicks her hair, she loves it. He loves it. Everything is beautiful. He's serving her, she's serving him. Then all of a sudden, after they get married, he stops doing that. And this is why marriages fail, because they stop making their partners number one. If you just served your partner, not trying to get something in order to, but just coming from the heart, what is it I can do for you? Honey, what can I do for you? Is there anything else I can do for you? And this makes it easy, because they will tell you, for me to feel loved, for me to feel respected, for me to be happier with you. The second biggest mistake that people make, marriages make, is that they make their children number one. And this is what happens. If you make your child, normally the woman will make the child number one. So the man he feels that he's lost that love, that respect. So it hurts for him, but he doesn't want to show it. So he will do something else. He'll play golf, or he'll go out with his friends, or he'll do something. Then the mother will use the child as a means to get happiness and joy and love. But what happens when the child leaves, goes to university, leaves the house? She will try and go back to the man, but the man is already busy doing stuff. So that causes a big problem. Mm-hmm. And what is the child learning? The child is learning, I have to make my children number one. So the same cycle will repeat. But this is the beautiful thing. If you make Christina number one, like I make my wife number one, my children see that. And a beautiful thing happens is my capacity to love and be loved increases. My children see that their partner is number one. That my partner will never leave me. My wife will never leave me. I will never leave her. So they get taught to be in a beautiful relationship. And because my wife and I have a higher capacity to love and be loved, my children, in fact, get more love than if they were made number one. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful lesson. It's a beautiful lesson.
What happens that causes so many couples to forget that?
They get into a funk, distractions, awareness. When they were first dating, they were the only things that were important. Then they get a job, they get children, they get promotions, they get busy, and they forget about each other. They take each other for granted.
And is there a third mistake? You talked about the biggest mistake and the second biggest mistake. Is there a third and a fourth?
Communication. Now, you have to communicate. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. talk about things, discuss concerns, discuss upsets, discuss your day. For a man, listen to your woman. Don't interrupt. Don't try and fix her. For a woman, let your man have his own space. See, knowing this stuff will allow you some freedom, because a man wants to try and fix, but it's not serving her. You have to serve your partner. So having that knowledge, and let me give you a really beautiful exercise.
Mm-hmm.
If ever you're in a funk or if things aren't going well with you and your partner, write down 50 great things about your partner. Write down 10 magical moments you have about your partner. Because what happens is we focus on the things that are not working. We focus on that argument, but we didn't focus on that beautiful time we had in Italy, or that beautiful moment when we first met. If you just focused on that moment, you created that feeling, and then you'll instantly feel differently. Remember, we are feeling-making machines. We love to create feelings. So if you practice making great feelings, it just becomes a muscle. Then, boom, you can do it in an instant.
Thank you, Anil. So I love what you've shared. Just to recap, you've shared the idea of how to bring love back into a marriage through awareness, through communication, through getting to understand what your partner wants and being able to request what you need. And then you've shared the three biggest mistakes that people make when they're in a relationship. What other tips could you give us so that we could craft healthier, better, more beautiful relationships with the people around us? Maybe not just in a romantic sense, but also our friends, our co-workers, our parents, our kids and daughters, our sons and daughters.
Okay, I have a beautiful one for you. It's as human beings, we love to make meaning to anything. We're meaning-making machines. So, for example, if my wife doesn't return my telephone call, I instantly, or used to instantly, make it mean something, that she doesn't love me, she doesn't respect me, she doesn't care for me. But actually what happened was she didn't call me back. So as human beings, things happen, we make it a meaning, and then we do a big story around it. So we do this with families. We have high expectations for families. They should behave in a certain manner. When they do something, we make it mean something, and then we get upset, and then we make it into a big thing. Whereas if we just really break it down, what happened? Oh, you didn't call me back. What happened? Oh, you were late. What happened? This. So we do this with families. We do this with business colleagues. We do this with people in our lives. So if you have that awareness, ask yourself, what do I make it mean?
Mm-hmm.
Second question is, what actually happened? The third question is, ask yourself, what is the cost of me feeling this way? The cost of me feeling this way towards my wife is I lose love for her. I'm not happy. I'm going to get upset with her. I'm ruining my day. Why do that stuff? Again, that's the awareness. You throw awareness around it, you realize, wow, really? And I do that in an instant. Then what happens is you learn to let go. Oh, I make it mean that. Oh, but actually, I can let go. And then you can just be enjoying that person rather than getting upset at them. And as human beings, we love to be right. And me especially, I love to be right about being right. So if I make a decision, she doesn't love me, I will look for evidence. So I will look for other things that she does. And then it'll escalate. It's crazy. That's what we do.
This...
Do you know that? You can break it down.
This reminds me of a quote I just read by Carl Jung. And it says, just as we tend to assume the world is as we see it, we naively suppose that people are as we imagine them to be. In this latter case, unfortunately, there is no scientific test that would prove the discrepancy between perception and reality. Although the possibility of gross deception is infinitely greater here than in our perception of the physical world, we still go on naively projecting our own psychology onto our fellow human beings. In this way, everyone creates for himself a series of more or less imaginary relationships based essentially on projection. And actually, there are a number of scientific studies that support this, from fundamental attribution error, where we tend to overestimate character as a cause for someone's behavior and not look at circumstance. So someone cuts us off in traffic and we assume they're an a-hole, when in reality, maybe they were rushing to get their kid to a hospital. We neglect circumstance or situation. We judge character. And there's also the famous studies on expectancy effect, how lovers and managers and kindergarten teachers get the performance based on what they expect to get from the people that they lead or manage. So I guess in a way, our perception of people somehow becomes our reality of how they treat us.
Yeah, and I have something called filters. So I have a filter for my wife. I have a filter for my son. I have a filter for my daughter. I have a filter for my staff. So, and especially in-laws, we have filters for them. So when my son speaks, I listen to him in a different way. When my daughter speaks, I listen to her in a different way. When my wife speaks, I listen to her in a different way. So I'm sure you've had this experience. If someone from the outside says something and you implement it, your wife will say, I've been telling you that for ages.
Right.
Because the filter that we have for the people close to us is different to the filter that we have for someone else. So imagine if you could remove those filters, you could see things as they are. And then that will stop you being judgmental, because human beings are judgmental.
So how does one remove those filters? Well, let me tell you a problem I have. I run a lot of companies, and I have about 170 people who work for me. And dealing with that many people, one of the things I notice is I get projected on a lot. So there are people in my team who think I'm an extrovert and they love hanging out with me. There are people in my team who are convinced I'm an introvert. There are people who think I'm aloof and I'm hard to talk to. There are people who think I'm ridiculously friendly. And it seems that everybody gets what they think. Everybody gets what they project. And I'm trying to figure out, how can I train my managers to understand just how much their projections impact how they work with people? Do you have any tools we can use to clear these filters?
Well, why don't you set up a meeting and say, look, guys, let's sit down and let's throw some awareness around this situation. Let's think of a situation. What do we make it mean? What actually happened? And once you throw that awareness, you can break it down. So awareness is the master key. Look at, who they're being. What meaning are they putting to it? Are they being right? What filters do they have? So it really is a muscle. And the beautiful thing here is, I was with Richard Branson at Necker Island. Beautiful man, very happy.
Just last week, right?
Yeah, I was there last week.
Right.
I had the most amazing time with him. But, he's a multi-billionaire. But he's just casual. He lets people be who they want to be. So if you were to give them that gift, just let them be who they want to be, what power would that give you? Because we are going to be who we want to be. The secret is delegation. If you delegate autonomy to them, this is what I learned from Richard, and just work on you, everything else gets handled. Choosing the right people in the right place.
Now, how can we though work with filters when it comes to, say, family or loved ones?
Well, with family, we have great expectations. They should behave in a certain way. They should do things in a particular manner. So, again, throw awareness. What filter do I have for my mother-in-law? Oh, well, she's this and she's that. So, imagine that you had an issue with your mother-in-law. Okay? If you want to destroy that bad feeling that you have for her, it's really very easy. This is what I tell my clients, my coaching clients. Do you love your wife? Oh my God, I love my wife. Would you die for her? Oh my God, I would die for her. Where did your wife come from? Who gave you your wife? What do you mean? Your mother-in-law gave you your wife. How dare you treat your mother-in-law that way? You should worship the place that she walks on, because she gave you your wife. She gave you your children. She gave you your grandchildren. See, it's the same circumstance, but the way you look at it changes. The way you feel about it changes. Then all of a sudden they have pure love for their mother-in-law. And guess what? The daughter is overjoyed and she will give you more love. You know, as human beings, we hold back love. I'm guilty of it. I hold back love from my wife at times. It's just I can't be bothered. But I have that awareness. In this moment, I can't be bothered. But it's okay. But I make up for it at another time. So the awareness allows you to be who you want to be. It's okay to be lazy. It's okay not to show up the way you want to show up. But after a while, you can't live that way. Because, you know, are you in integrity? Are you being who you say you want to be? So the integrity comes in there too.
Thanks, Anil. So what other tips could you give us, or systems or tools that we could apply immediately to increase the strength of our relationships?
Okay, the first one is awareness. The second one is be grateful for your partner. Be grateful for their parents. Be grateful for the family. The three is let go. Let go of past issues. You know, the upsets that you've had. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve the relationship. Let me give you an amazing, beautiful, life-changing technique my wife and I use. We used to have a lot of fights, and I mean a lot of fights. We were shouting at each other. I would storm out the house, and I thought, Anil, this isn't right. You know, you can't carry on living like this. There has to be a way. What can you do? What can we do together? So we came up with a technique. So anytime my wife and I are going to have a fight, one of us has to say one word, and that word is ceasefire. Yeah? So if you use that word ceasefire, we have to stop fighting. Full stop. It's hard at the beginning because I want to carry on. She wants to carry on. But if she carries on, I say, no. Ceasefire. It stops. I'm not playing. So you can be playful around it. So imagine you had a fight with Christina. And you use just one word, something that means something to you, and you use that word, the fight would stop. Because when you have a fight, you say things, you do things that you regret. What's the point in that? So this word will stop us. We can be calm, collected, and then we can resolve it. It's really very powerful, especially if you fight a lot. This is an amazing technique.
Are there other tools in your arsenal that you use in relationships?
Oh, yes. You know, what is the definition of love? If you change the definition you have for love, you change your life. So my definition of love is very simple. Acceptance. If I accept my wife as she is, if she accepts me as I am, that's powerful. I'm not trying to change her. I'm not trying to fix her. She's not trying to fix me. She's not trying to change me. Accept her the way she is, the beautiful person that she is, the flaws. There's perfection in imperfection. You look at the meaning-making machines. Look at the filters. You know, there's a tool I use. It's called Infinite Patience Produces Immediate Results. And let me share that with you. My son, as you know, I'm Indian. So as Indians, we have to have, all our kids are really smart. They have to go to the top schools, highest grades, everything. And I lived in London. It was very competitive there. So I would get my son tutors, extra classes, courses, all sorts of things. And I sensed, you know, he didn't seem happy about it. I thought, wow, this is interesting. He's not happy. I'm doing this for him. Then I realized I'm not doing it for him. I'm doing it for me because I want to look good amongst my peers. You know, I want him to be a doctor or a dentist, all that stuff, or, you know, go to a great university, great school. Then I thought, Anil, you love your son. You would die for him. Why would you do this? Then I would say, yeah, I'm doing it for myself to look good. Is that what you're committed to? I said, no. So what do you want to do about it? I said, you know what? Just let go. Just let him go. Let him be. And a beautiful thing happened, Vishen. He blossomed. Because imagine in his world what he was thinking. He's not good enough. He's not smart enough. He doesn't belong. There's something wrong. My dad doesn't love me. Because he loved me, he wouldn't do this to me. This is what human beings, meaning-making machines, instant. As soon as I let go, he became happier, more joy. I was happier. If I'm happy, if he's happy, I'm happy. So he blossomed, and now he works for Tony Robbins. He's 22. He's one of their national speakers. But I didn't realize at that time the cost of it. And this is what we do to our kids. We have high expectations for them. We make them do things for our benefit, not for their benefit. So that awareness gave me that insight, that gave me that joy. Infinite patience produces immediate results. If I'd have been patient then, I could have had so much more years of joy. And everything will be well in the end. And if it's not the end, if it's not well, it's not the end. Sorry, I got that wrong. So that's powerful. And if you know that with your wife, with your relatives, infinite patience. Another technique is being right. If you're having a discussion with someone, look at yourself. How strongly are you being right? What is the cost? There's always a cost.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be right, and we have these discussions together with my wife, and I have to let go because I don't want to upset her. What's the point? I'm right, she's right. What's the point? So it's how you look at life. It's how you show up. It's how you communicate. And are you willing to let go? The quality of your life is dependent on the quality of the forgiveness you're able to extend in that life. I call forgiveness is the express pathway to freedom. If you're able to forgive, and this is a very important thing, people want to forgive, but they also want to forget. You don't have to. You can forgive, but not forget. There's a big difference. They think that if you forgive, you have to forget. No, you can forgive, but you don't have to forget. But by the act of forgiveness, you don't give the power to the actual experience.
So that's a very powerful insight there. Forgive, but not forget. Now, can you clarify that? What do you mean by not forget?
Okay, say your wife did something to you.
Okay.
And you're not happy about what she did.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to forgive her, but you don't want to forget. But by you holding on to that and not forgiving, it's costing you your happiness, your joy, your self-expression, your total love for that person. But if you say, look, honey, I forgive you, that is always there. But by you not throwing your thoughts on it, it tends to disappear. But if by you thinking about it more and more and more, it'll persist. If I say to you, don't think of a pink elephant.
But then isn't to not forget about it, isn't that the same as to bring it back, to think about it? I mean, why would we not forget about it?
No, there's a difference, because the pure act of letting go is incredibly releasing. But that thought will disappear way, way, way back. But if you say, look, I'm going to forgive you, but I'm really not going to forget about it, but in an angry, way, as if, I'm going to hold that against you. But if you just say, look, I forgive you. What you did, I don't agree with, but I love you. I know that you did it with pure intent. Let me forgive you. And it's not about the other person. It's about you. So as you forgive, your capacity to forgive and be forgiven increases. So as you increase that capacity, your capacity to love, be present, be aware increases. So I call it, if you do all of these things, I call it compounding happiness. If you're 1% more giving, 1% happier, 1% more forgiving, 1% more playful, 1% happier, 1% more joyful, 1% more just present. Imagine what it'll be like after a week, a month, a year. It's a small change will create a massive change.
Thanks, Anil. Now, I also know that you are the father of 2 beautiful kids. Am I correct?
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
What tips would you give for those of us who are parents or planning on being parents to help us build a greater bond with our children?
Let me give you the most beautiful tip. If you practice this, your connection with your children will escalate. They'll have more confidence, more power, more communication skills, just really become greater human beings. So my son, I think, was about 8. My daughter was 6. We'd sit around a table and we'd have a discussion. I would lead the first meeting and I would say to my son, what is it you've done today that you have not been acknowledged for? What does acknowledgement say? Well, what have you done today that you haven't been thankful? Oh, okay. Well, Dad, I got this really great grade and you didn't seem very interested. Oh my God, really? I'm so sorry, son. I was occupied somewhere else. but I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness, you're a great kid. I love you. Yeah. Sorry, would you accept my apology? Sure. Then I would ask them, same to my daughter and my wife. My wife said, well, I cooked this great meal. No one thanked me. Oh, you know what, honey, I think I take you for granted. You cook great meals and that's what I expect. But let me say thank you. I do appreciate you. I do love you. I do love what you do for me. I do love the amount of love you put in the food. Thank you. Next question would be, what can you be grateful for? See, this is a muscle that the children are building. This is a muscle that we're building. Next question is, what act of kindness did you see today? So then they're looking around. Then what act of kindness did you perform today?
Wow.
Yeah? Next question. What was great about today? What magical thing did you see? So what this does, it builds up their muscle because they're looking around. So 2 or 3 days later, my son would lead the meeting. So we all have to be respectful of him. He would choose who to speak first. He would choose the questions to ask. He would choose the whole meeting. So he has to be respectful. He has to be kind. He has to be generous. He has to be a leader. A few days later, my daughter, 6 years old, would lead the meeting. So can you imagine a 6-year-old? Imagine Hayden leading the meeting. You have this big international guru, you, another international guru, Christina, Eve, at this meeting, and he'd be in charge. How important would he feel? How respected and loved would he feel? How listened to would he feel?
I know, that is such a beautiful system.
It is, isn't it?
So let me recap, okay, to make sure everyone got that. You assemble your family together over the dining table, and you take turns to lead the meeting. And there are 4 questions that you ask. And the first question is, what did you do today that you'd love to be acknowledged for? The second question is, what are you grateful for today? The third question, what act of kindness did you do today? And the final question is, what magic did you witness today? Did I get those right?
Yeah, and again, they'll start asking questions. What magical things did you see? What did you notice today? What was great about today? Is there anything that's on your mind? And another question is, do you have anything on your mind? Any unresolved issues? So this is a constant clearing. So instead of something happening and you're not bringing it out, you can clear it out. So you give people the freedom to speak without getting upset. So, honey, I didn't know that.
I can't wait to try this. I know a good practice or a system when I hear one, and this sounds phenomenal. I also love the fact that you take turns with who's running it, just because I can imagine the impact this would have on a 6-year-old if he was put in charge of running a meeting like this. Yeah. So this is something you do with your family?
Yeah. Let me share one thing my son said to me. He said, Dad, you lied to us. And I've got a very, very, very high level of integrity.
Right.
And I thought, wow, I can't believe that. What do you mean? He said, Dad, look, you're on the computer. And I said, will you play with me? And you said, yes, and I'll be there in 10 minutes. Dad, you took an hour to get to me.
Wow.
So
now
that really opened my eyes.
What was the question? What was the question that sparked that?
In the meeting, what unresolved issues?
I see. So that's the 5th one that you could ask. What unresolved issues?
Yeah. So he said, Dad, look, you lied to her. Oh my God. So from that moment, I was very careful what came out of my mouth. Because, we are what we say. That's our integrity. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I had to think about that. I said, thank you, son. You gave me a big awakening there.
I see. That's beautiful. I wonder if this can also be applied to if you are in a team, as in a company or a business. I wonder if this in some ways could be applied to that team as well. What have you done that you'd love to be acknowledged for? What are you grateful for? What did you witness someone else did that truly inspired you? What unresolved issues did you have?
Yeah, and what is it that we can do as a company to make this company a better place? What is it I can do? What is it I can change for you guys so that I serve you better? It's powerful. You can do this with family. You know, everything I've taught you today, Vishen, is a universal law. You can use it in your family life, your business life, your personal life.
Thank you. And these are some beautiful systems and ideas that you've implanted in us, Anil. Now, we have a few minutes left. Do you have any other final tips?
Note that we live in a world where people have served us and they've looked after us. They've given us great insights. They've mentored us. When was the last time you said thank you to them? When was the last time you said to your dad, Dad, I love you, I respect you. Thank you for the gift you've given me of my life. I cannot thank you enough. You mean everything to me. How often do we say that to our parents? How often do we say that to a teacher that mentored us? How often do we say that to a friend? You know, it takes 30 seconds. You know, be aware that there are people out there who've changed your life. Say thank you to them. But above all else, increase your awareness, because if you do that, you become a different person. As you become a different person, the people around you change. And you get to live a life that you choose. It's really very powerful.
Anil, let me ask you, I love that key message on awareness. Let me ask you something that I think a lot of people listening may be facing. I know I certainly face it. I really try to increase my awareness, but on a day-to-day basis, there's just so much that I have to think about or run or work with. When I'm at work, I'm dashing from meeting to meeting to meeting. In those busy moments, what can we do to keep our awareness levels up?
Okay, so is that the way you want to live your life?
Well, I love what I do.
Okay, so ask yourself a question. What is it I need to change so that I don't have to be in that position? How can I become more efficient?
While being more aware.
Yeah. What systems do I need to put in place?
To be more efficient while being more aware.
And to get more work done. You know, how is it Richard Branson can run all these companies and sit on a beach
Right.
and be playful? Because he's got systems in place. So sometimes we have to slow down, take stock. Instead of working in the business, work on the business. Instead of working in the relationship, we should work on the relationship.
Right.
So it really is, everything's awareness. And you know, something that's very important, Vishen, and I coach this a lot. There's nowhere to get to. There's nothing wrong, and you're already there. A lot of people are trying to get somewhere. They think, oh, I shouldn't be here. I should be there. I should be there. I should be here. You know, life shouldn't be this way. Oh, I'm never going to reach it. Oh, there's something wrong. There's nowhere to get to. There's nothing wrong, and you're already there. So that will give a lot of people a peace, because they're trying to get to somewhere. There's nowhere to get to. In this moment, we are where we are. And it's a beautiful moment. I'm enjoying this moment with you so much because I'm present with you.
Thank you, Anil. I appreciate that. And thank you on behalf of everyone listening. Folks, that was Anil Gupta. Hope you enjoyed this call, and I'll see you on our next session. Thanks.
Thank you.